Welcome back if you've just joined us. You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos and Abuja. A reminder of our top stories. Father of one of the women abused for allegedly stealing pepper in Ejigbo confirms his daughter's death. Kwara Deputy Governor's aide killed while trying to arrest a motorcyclist for obstructing Deputy Governor's convoy. President Goodluck Jonathan scores self high, says his government is the best in Nigeria's history. And doctors confirm former Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's health has deteriorated further. Well, just a quick reminder to you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, please visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Of course, you can take it a step further and interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android and Windows 8 platforms. So if you have a picture or video to share with us, do tap on the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and then follow the instructions to share your reports, pictures and videos. Now, there are more revelations on the Ejigbo torture saga, which left 3 ladies critically injured. But now it's been confirmed that one of them is dead. The woman, who's simply identified as Julie, was said to have been brought from her hometown in Badagry to work in a restaurant. Our correspondent Loretta Chogo reports.
The search continues. The men involved in the violent torture of 2 ladies in the Ejigbo area of Lagos State must be questioned. The outcry, led by Joe Odumaki, a human rights activist, has produced the parents of the tortured women. Most pathetic, however, is the fact that this woman, whose identity wasn't prominent in the assault video that has gone viral, is the biological mother of the 12-year-old and a stepmom to Julie, the older woman who received much torture. She recounts her ordeal in Yoruba.
When I got there, they said to me, "So you're the mother of thieves." They stripped me and poured blended pepper in my private parts. They even cut my bra strap and said they'll cut off my head to the god of iron. They are OPC members.
Occasionally, wiping his tears as he remembers the way his 2 daughters and wife were tortured and the eventual death of one. Their father revealed that he was told by the Babaloja of Oba Moruf Market in Ejigbo to bail the women alleged to have stolen pepper with 150,000 naira. He also alleged that members of the OPC tortured his daughters and wife and later sacked him from his apartment in an uncompleted building in Ejigbo.
They told me to give them 50,000 after much pleading. When we couldn't produce that, they collected 20,000 and gave us 2 weeks to balance up the 30,000.
Well, very disturbing indeed, but from there we need to cross over to our Abuja studios. Here's Gloria Ume Ezoke. Hey there, Gloria.
Well, thank you, Ijoma. How very sad indeed. Well, news from Abuja right now. Barely 2 days after a new leadership of the All Progressives Congress, APC, was installed in Ondo State, the party in the state has been thrown into crisis. Well, some of the members of the party are opposed to the way and manner the party leaders were constituted, accusing the leaders of the imposition against the popular will of the original members of the party. A leader of the party in the state, Mr. Bola Iluri, has criticized the choice of Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu as the party chairman and also the selection of a 52-year-old man as the party's youth leader.
31 people are supposed to be in the harmonization committee of the state. Only 11 attended. Even people he handpicked even refused to go. It's that embarrassing. to the party and to the people, because people feel that it's a charade, and our people have their pride to protect, and that's why they chose not to even attend. Only 11 out of 31 attended, and they still went ahead to say they are inaugurating there. What is needed is for the national leadership to intervene, get each party to produce his own list and his own nominee in the list, and there will be peace. A party is built on the unity of his own people, and that is what we are canvassing.
Ahead of the forthcoming National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party, the Senate President has given the assurance that the leaders of the party will unite to save the PDP from its current crisis. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to the Senate President, Senator David Mark admitted that the development in the party is a challenging one. He, however, explained that the leaders would arrest the situation and save the party from further disintegration by making genuine efforts to reconcile party men and women. The planned council poll in Anambra State this Saturday appears uncertain given the fact that some political parties are complaining of the non-release of voter register for the process. In a dramatic turn, though, the PDP has decided to participate in the process, while the APC remains adamant on not participating, and the APGA has been going round town to campaign ahead of the election. But the controversy over the polls has deepened as the former chairman of the Electoral Commission in the state says the Electoral Commission cannot conduct the process because of the pending court case.
The nooks and crannies of Anambra State are go-go ready ahead of Saturday's local government election. Beyond the doubt over the conduct of the polls, the All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA has gone ahead with its campaign. The candidates of the party are being handed the flags to show how prepared they are for the process. Meanwhile, in other parts of the state, the People's Democratic Party is not happy with the state of the preparation of the electoral umpire, the Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission.
If you like 2 days to the election, yet the voters register that will be used for the Saturday's election is not known to anybody. Are we not supposed to know our opponents, if any?
The poll seems to have more controversy hanging over it, as a former chairman of the Electoral Commission believes that for the sake of the case in court over the chairmanship of the commission, the conduct of the election is a nullity.
The Attorney General gave an undertaking in court before Justice H.O. Ozo on November 16, 2011, until the case is finally settled. The status quo ante bello was adopted to remain.
It is about 48 hours to the council poll in Anambra State, and the uncertainty over it appears enormous. The court case and the issue of the register of voters are the major impediments. Despite all this, the way to go is to put elected leaders in place and end almost a decade of lack of democratic governance in the councils.
Well, to education, polytechnic students across the country hoping to return to classes soon may have to spend more days at home as their teachers have vowed to continue with the ongoing strike they embarked on last October. At a news conference in Kaduna, the president of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, Mr. Chibuzo Asomoga, accused the federal government of not showing concern over the consequences of the industrial action. The polytechnic teachers insist they would stay away from classes until government addresses all contending issues.
For over 6 months, millions of polytechnic students across the country have been kept out of school. For their lecturers, the education sector, largely responsible for training of the technical manpower needs of the nation, is in itself in a state of need.
Ironically, as nations respond responsibly to the need for technical and vocational education, and as nations have worked to equip their institutions to meet the challenges, Nigeria is only pretending and paying lip service to repositioning the polytechnic sector in order to respond to the challenges of our emergent civilization.
The ASU president lays the blame on the federal government for failing to implement 4 out of 11 of the union's demands, which it had earlier agreed to.
The continued discrimination against polytechnic graduates in public service and in the labor market in Nigeria. 2, the non-release of the white paper on the visitations to federal polytechnics, which took place almost 2 years ago. 3, the refusal of government to fund the implementation of the Contis 15 migration for the lower cadres and the arrears from 2009. 4, the non-establishment of a National Polytechnics Commission and the continued recognition of the National Board for Technical Education, MBTA, as a regulatory body for polytechnics.
He added that the union can only shift ground if government shows serious and genuine commitment to the resolution of all contending matters. In the meantime, government's urgent attention is necessary, as a neglect of polytechnic education can be detrimental to technological development in the country.
Economic activities have returned to Berger Suya bus stop in Olodia-Apapa 24 hours after the community was thrown into agony by a tanker explosion that killed not fewer than 10 people, with many houses and shops destroyed. For the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, the federal authorities should be held responsible for the tragic incident, even as he sympathizes with the victims' families. In our big story tonight, our correspondent Kelvin Obete brings you update on the Lagos tanker explosion incident.
Indomie instant noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
The once busy Berger Suya Road in Olodia-Apapa gets back to its normal nature after the tanker explosion, as most of the burned vehicles and other debris are now out of the way. Victims are still sorting out goods that could be useful from their shops, but the loss still weighs heavily on them.
All I have to say is that I lost lots of money, this kind of thing, it has happened, and we are now enduring it. So you get, we are trying to endure it. What has happened is the will of God. It's not the will of man. God proposes, a man proposes and God disposes.
In terms of the loss, it's too much. It's too much for me because everything was burned.
Some of the occupants confirmed that they were advised by government officials to leave the area in 48 hours, as most buildings have now become weak.
That 48 hours, government they're supposed to help us in that area because this thing happened incidentally. Understand? And we have nowhere to pack all those things within that 48 hours. So they have to give us more time.
The Lagos State Police Command now has reports from investigation made so far, even though the dead victims are yet to be identified.
At the end of the day, we recorded about 10 loss of life, and 15 people had various degrees of burns, and they are receiving treatment in the hospital, because this problem would have been averted if they were taking care of their vehicles. Service your vehicles, do a routine check. If you notice any problem, it's supposed to be taken care of before you put it on the road. When we have such cases, hoodlums take advantage of that and start looting. So that was prevented last night, but we have beefed up security within that area, so that to forestall any breakdown of law and order.
The state government is also saddened by the occurrence, but blames the federal government for failing to invest in other safer means of transportation of petroleum products.
Everybody must take his own share of responsibility here. The federal government first, why in this day and age we are still probably one of the few oil-producing nations left in the world, still trucking tankers right through cities. For me, there's no rocket science about restoring the old trains. Since if the rail is working as they say, let us begin to use it to move our fuel out of the road. it will save fuel, it will save the road, and it will help us. The tanker drivers who own the tankers can now buy rail wagons. So it's the same mentality and the same philosophy. When you look at the waste in NNPC, now we were talking about 40-something billion that was missing. They seem to be quite satisfied to tell us that, well, it's only $10 billion. Now, if you do the math, $10 billion is a lot of money. $1 of public money is a lot of money. Given that if we had spent $10 billion to try and use it to build rail evacuation of fuel from Tinkan Island and Apapa, maybe those people would not have died.
Accidents are prevalent on this road, and there are several factors believed to be responsible for this. The terrain with sharp bends as well as shops situated close to the road are among others. One of the complaints by residents here is the presence of this alleged illegal trailer park. Some of the trucks are actually parked very close to the road, and oftentimes they've caused obstruction of vehicular movement. For long and high vehicles, they find it difficult to negotiate through the sharp bend. This is one of the reasons why accidents are recorded here always.
What are parked and are numerous vehicles, shops, goods. Maybe some of these goods being sold will be on the road, so it's difficult for such trailer like this to maneuver, or other road users to use. Very difficult. We just need a lot of sanity here and sanitation here. Maybe we have written a lot of correspondences to the Ministry of Environment, to the Ministry of Transport. We have written to the governor. We have sent so much mails to everyone of concern. We have brought the attention of the local government here so many times. We have brought them physically here, but they seem not to have solution to it.
The tanker fire incident is one that will definitely go down memory lane in this community. Hopefully, this will be the last of them all. Kelvin Obetin, Channels Television News.
Indomie instant noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
That's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Gloria. Well, Gloria Mizuke live there in the nation's capital, Abuja. Now, when the news at 10 returns, CBN Governor may leave office before his June date. That's on Business News. Just stay with us.